Hello viewers, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make jollof rice. We're going to be measuring the pots. I've got 32 centimeter pot here. Of course, we're going to be measuring the rice as well. Here I have 1.5 kilograms of rice. I am going to be confirming that on the scale. You are going to be seeing with your eyes to know exactly what we are talking about here. We're going to be using the golden silver basmati. People are used to the long grain and the jasmine rice and tolly boys. This is golden silver basmati. It's a different style of rice. A lot of people are going into using this golden silver basmati rice now, and I'm going to be using it. I'm going to be using the bell pepper. Of course, we're going to be blending this bell pepper with scotch bonnet. Of course, we have to know what the measurement is again. We're going to be putting that on the scale to confirm. I am going to be using these spoons to measure the condiment, so you know exactly what we're going to be using. So it's actually proportional to what you're using as well. I'm going to be using the I'm also going to be using my curry powder here. I've got my curry powder. We're going to be using curry powder. I've got the thyme. We're going to be using thyme. I've got my black pepper. I'm going to be using black pepper as well. We have onions. We're going to be frying onions as well. We're going to be frying 2 onions, and of course we're going to be blending 2 onions with the pepper as well. I'm also going to be using tomato paste. I've told you we're going to be using tomato paste. We have the tomato puree here as well. Tomato puree. As I say, I'm going to be using the staple to measure the pots, okay? So you can know the exact amount and the size of the pot. This is 32 centimeters. We're going to be using that. I'm going to be using oil. To know the exact oil you're going to be using with your 32 centimeter pot, we're going to be using this cup to measure it. So we're going to be using 1 cup of the oil, which is 250 ml of this to cook the rice. Also, we're going to be using our condiments, of course. We're going to be using our condiments. So stay in touch, stay in tune, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this video at the end. Now, if you want to use bay leaf, you can be asking, well, what is the bay leaf? If you want to use bay leaf, you can use bay leaf with this rice. Just use only 1 leaf. But one thing I found out about bay leaf is if it stays too long in the pot when you're cooking, it gives it this bitterness at the end. So if you're cooking using bay leaf, after 10 minutes, take the bay leaf out, because of course the leaf could have diffused and released all the scents and all the flavor into your rice. Don't leave it to the end. But if you're used to leaving it to the end, that's fine. But in this video, I am not going to be using bay leaf. But again, you can use bay leaf. The depth is 14 centimeters, as you can see. 14 centimeters. And the width is diameter. The diameter is 33 centimeters or 32 centimeters. All right, so we have the 32 centimeters diameter and 14 centimeters depth. This is the measurement for the rice. So you can see the measurement is being set to 0, so make sure it's set to 0, and this is what we're going to be using to scale. All right, so I'm just going to pour the rice on it, and we can just take it up from there to see what the measurement is. It's going down, and it's almost getting to 1. So when it gets to 1, I am going to stop. That's it. So that's 1 kilo. A little bit more. Perfect. So I'm gonna just pour that, then do another batch. As you can see, it's back to 0. I'm just gonna pour the rest of the rice. We're just gonna see what that takes us to. Bingo! You can see that that's 1.5. All right, that's 1.5. It's in the middle between the 400 and the 600. So that's what we're going to be cooking. Okay, just going to pour that as well, the previous rice. So there we have our 1.5 kilograms, which is 1,500 grams of rice. Okay, now I'm going to be measuring the onions to know the onions we're going to be using. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's see. So we're gonna be using 500 grams of onions. All right, it's just a little bit. Well, of course, when you take off the skin, it's gonna drop to 500. So we have 500 grams of onions. And to see what pepper we're gonna use. All right, we've got 200 grams, as you can see. of the red pepper we're going to be using. So 200 grams of the pepper is what we're going to be using in this video. We're going to be using 240 grams. All right, that's the drained weight. So 240 grams of tomato puree. That's what we're going to be using. 800, can you see? So we're going to be 800 grams of tomato puree that we're going to be using. So this tomato paste. So just to know what the onion is after peeling the skin, I'm going to drop it in there, and so we can actually know what the measurement is after peeling the skin off. Right, so I've got 400 grams. As you can see, we've got like 400 grams of onions after the skin has been peeled. Here we have 1 cup, which is 250 ml. So we're going to be using 250 ml of oil to cook this rice. As you can see, I've got 250 ml of oil, so I'm just going to pour that in a pot. Cut 2 onions and fry the onions until it's transparent. Here, as you can see, I've got 2 onions diced, and the 2 remaining onion I'm going to be blending it with tomato puree and scotch bonnet. So these 2 out of the 4 onions that I've diced is what I'm going to be frying in the oil. I'm going to just pour the onion into the oil and just let it fry. Allow this to fry till transparent for like 5 minutes under high heat. Then you are going to add 800 grams of tomato paste. You can see that there. Right, as you can see, it's becoming transparent now. It's been frying for over 5 minutes. That is exactly what we want, and it's on high heat. As you can see, I've set it to 9, and that's exactly what we want. So now we're gonna add our tomato puree. As you can see, I've opened it now. You can use Derrica, you can use this particular brand, any brand you're comfortable using, please use them. I'm not by any chance being paid by this company. I just use this particular brand to make my jollof rice. All right, so I'm just going to add that to the you see, I've just added that now. So of course there's still some inside. Don't worry, use some water to wash it. It's also fine. To avoid burning, then you just have to stir, all right, as soon as possible. While it's still frying, you're going to just wash this with some water. Altogether, I've used 500 ml of water to wash the pan. So remember that 500 ml to wash the remaining puree inside the pan, because you don't want to throw it away. So you have to kind of manage that properly as well. So I've used 500 ml of water. I've drained the first one. This is the second batch of what I'm pouring into the puree. So again, you can see that. So just let that fry. So you just allow this to continue frying again. It's still at 9. I've not changed it. So just let it fry. And at this point is when we're going to add our seasoning. Okay, so let it fry for another like 10 minutes, then we're going to add your seasoning. So now you're going to add your seasoning. So I'm going to be using this, which is 1 tablespoon. So this is 1 tablespoon. As you can see, 1 tablespoon. I'm going to be using 3 tablespoons. Using 3 tablespoons. 1, and that is my jumbo fish flavor. 2, 3. Just stir because you don't want it to burn. I'm also going to be adding 3 of my all-purpose seasoning. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 of my all-purpose seasoning and 3 of my crayfish seasoning. You stir again. 1 tablespoon of salt. Right, I know some of you might be questioning, oh, the seasoning is too much. No, it's not too much, but remember, because there are two reasons why. Because you're still going to add water to it, and when you add the rice absorbs the seasoning. If you don't do that from the scratch, what happens is your rice is going to be tasteless. But please reduce the seasoning if you don't really like seasoning. Don't follow this instruction. Ignore my instruction on seasoning if you don't want it. But I'm just telling you what I've tried, my research, and what gives me the best results. Okay, now it's going to be as if it's a bit salty. That's exactly what you want, because remember, we're still going to pour water, and of course in the cooking process the dry rice goes into it, absorbs the seasoning, and it just balances up when you're cooking, so you don't have to add any seasoning at the end. If you've been cooking rice and it's been tasteless, or if you've gone to parties and it's tasteless, that is the reason why. But again, you can add seasoning. Please reduce the seasoning. I am just adding this based on what I've researched and what I've done so many times, and it's really working for me. So now I've stirred it again. Now we're just gonna add a thyme, curry, and my black pepper. To use my black pepper, I am going to be using half a tablespoon of thyme, half a tablespoon of curry. I'm going to be adding half a tablespoon of my black pepper. Stir, because if you don't stir, it's going to burn, and you don't want that to burn. So I'm going to add 2.1 liters of water. You can see that. And see, we've added 2.1 liters of water to it, and it's still on 9, which is very high, and I'm just going to leave that to cook to get to boiling point. We're going to blend our tomato puree. So again, I'm going to put my 3 scotch bonnets in there, 2 onions. Okay, I'm going to add my tomato. I'm also going to add my bell pepper. And bring that to a blend. Right, as you can see, it's still cooking. I'm just going to add my tomato puree into it now. My blended tomatoes. Stay here. That's it. So rinse it with 250 ml of water and allow this to come to boil. So we're just going to cover this and let it boil and cook for like 15-20 minutes. As you can see, I'm washing the rice now. It's very important that you wash your rice to get all the starchy substance out, which is this white substance. If you've eaten rice before and it's kind of really mushy and it's not kind of all individually standing in the plate, it's because the starch is too much. And you know, so if you really want to enjoy your rice, if you really want to enjoy your jollof rice, make sure you wash the rice until the water is clear. So that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to keep washing until the water is clear. As you can see, I've actually washed all the starch away, and that's basically what we want. So I'm going to drain it for the last time, and then we're going to pour it into the rice, which is boiling now. As you can see, this is on the boiling point. This is exactly what we want. So I'm going to be pouring the rice. So at this point now, I just want to pour the rice that's been washed, which is good. So we're just going to pour this into the boiling this sauce now. I'm just going to do that gently to avoid any splash, okay? So you just want to stir. Right, so yeah, we've poured the rice now. I'm just going to cover it for it to boil. Then we're going to reduce the heat. Right, I'm just going to check the rice now. It's at boiling point, so it's been cooking for like 7 minutes now. So at this point, you just want to stir, okay? It's still at 9, remember, still keeping it at 9. I'm still going to just stir to make sure it doesn't burn and doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. It's very important to check at this stage to make sure that your rice is not burning. I've not added or subtracted anything in this video, so this is just a clear instruction of from start to finish. Two things I did not add, that based on preference, if you want to add, you can add. If you want to add butter, please feel free to add butter. If you want to add bay leaf, you can add bay leaf. It's your choice. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to keep looking at it, and it's still at 9. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to reduce the heat to 2. All right, so just let that keep cooking. So I'm going to reduce that to 2. Okay, and just let it steam. Right, the rice has been steaming for over 15 minutes now, and I've actually stirred it once. It's still at 2. Okay, so we're just going to stir that again. Wow, so yeah, it's been cooking for over 15 minutes now, so I'm just going to stir. As you can see, the rice is absolutely ready and ready to serve. That the 32 centimeter of pot with 1.5 kilo, which is 1,500 grams of rice. That's exactly what we want. It fills the pot. The question is, Kolawole, how many people can eat this? You know, based on what I know and what I do all the time, at least 15 people can eat this. 15 people, 15 to 20 people can have this rice. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and press the notification button. Share this video with family and friends or your children who's in university to learn how to cook it from scratch. And yeah, I wish you the best, and please leave a comment, and until next time, I want to say goodbye. But people will say, oh, they want that smoky. If you want that smoky effect, just leave it to burn. Simple. If you want that smoky Nigerian effect, just let your rice burn. But for me, I don't like my rice to burn. This is lockdown now. I can't afford my rice to waste, to be honest, because exactly, you know. So that's just it. I just thought I should show you the bottom of the pot. As you can see, it's all clear and it's been served nicely. That's my rice, and I can just cover them nicely and put them in the freezer till I'm ready to eat them.